This is the Lekker Rugby Pod, only on Megafoon Rugby.
Welcome to our very own Gulliver and his travels again. All over the world, are you finding enlightenment or disillusionment over in New Zealand, Harry?
It's beautiful. It actually was a warm day today. So many people from Worcester, from Welkom, from Ceres, from Pietermaritzburg, wherever, and they are rocking and rolling into airports, also coming from other places in New Zealand, living in, Lake Taupo or places around Wellington, making the drive. But the accumulation is that in the city of Auckland, everywhere you went, wherever we're going tonight, is going to have lots of green. People are wearing their green. They're not just, rocking up and wearing the green tomorrow. They're wearing it tonight, Friday night. There's a palpable buzz. The locals, the All Black fans, are absolutely buzzing into it. And what I described in my Roar article this week was that both teams have similar doubts. So it's actually unusual that they have the number one and number two in a sport. And not only number one and number two right now, but number one and number two just about for 150 years. So they should be, oozing self-confidence, and they're not. Both of them have this, chink in the armor exposed by Argentina and Australia. Razors on a razor's edge. Rassi's comfortable enough to just say what he thinks, and you can tell he's extremely, jumpy and ready to go. This is very interesting. It's Jamie Wall, the Kiwi journalist, put it this way: this is bigger in some ways than the World Cup, because if South Africa takes this away from us, we don't get it back. It's gone, and so there's that feeling locally that we are invading. We're like the Visigoths and the Vandals coming into Rome, burning stuff, because we're supposed to be the savage types. And I kind of do think I think on the wildness factor, if it goes wild tomorrow night, I think we're going to win. If it just goes by the numbers, I do worry a little bit. And then I think all of us, to be honest, because of Ellis Park, we don't know what to think, We're sitting around here going, which one shows up? The one that was, 2024, where we were swept the All Blacks and looked pretty comfortable in Cape Town, or is it, 2025, a different story? So, here we go. Let's rip in. We have the teams now. We have the All Blacks. I can talk to you about who they are and some of the people who are lesser known. I'm going to bear you glad tidings. This is gonna be a positive pod. I'm gonna actually say Muniwarini. The Boks we're fine. I am confident saying that we're gonna win by 8 points. Okay. Write it down, put it in the book, chisel it in granite and marble, stick it on your ceiling like the Sistine Chapel. Boks by 8. But now let's go into the All Blacks.
Now, before we go into the All Blacks, I want to just ask you something else. The past couple of months, we've all been talking about depth. Springbok's got depth, and there's Venn diagrams and spreadsheet columns and whatever. Yet I got the impression this week that the Springboks were scrambling a little bit. Siya was never supposed to play. Jean-Luc got injured again, or, is not unable to play again, rather put it like that. And now Siya's being pulled in. Jasper Wiese, probably the stupidest, most expensive non-headbutt in the history. That's really going to cost the Springboks in the long run. Just talk to me briefly about that depth side. I saw Rassie in that press conference in the team announcement looking a little less comfortable than I'm used to seeing him looking, or am I imagining it?
We have more test qualified locks than anyone. It's not even close. We can go deep. We can go 6, maybe 6 deep in our locks. We're fine. And we have some people that are injured, so that also counts. But Archie, Lewitt, Eben, Peter Stefano in a pinch, Ruan, John Klein is still obviously out there. Kubus Visa is tested. It's just ridiculous how many. On the prop side, even a guy like Boan Venter and the idea that you could do Tank or Wilco interchangeably, and that Frans Malherbe is still out there, isn't gone away. and Ox being one of the best, I think that's fine too. So I don't think we have depth at hooker, and we need to find it. So Jan-Hendrik Wessels, obviously, big day for him tomorrow. I think at fly off we kind of do, but then again, no one's really that confident in reality. I mean, I know people say they are, but they're not really about money. And then at fullback, we have a confidence problem that takes away our depth. But we have three good operators there. Fassi is great. Valimsa is great. But they just have confidence issues right now. Wildness issues, maybe. I think midfield's also not that deep. You know, we have the best midfield combination in the world, but it's not clear. So I think Ethan Hooker coming in, that's also cool. Let's establish some depth. Number 9, we really are deep. I think what you're reacting to is the Jasper Visa problem, which is Jasper gets a red card, he gets banned, and then we just get stubborn about it. But I don't care. I've decided I don't care anymore. I'm not going to go down that road because it doesn't lead anywhere good. And I've decided that we're going to beat them by 8 anyway. And I have reasons to prove it. But I do think what you're talking about on the shuffle and the Siya thing is just a Jasper thing and, you know, the Evan Ruiz thing. And like, if you just change one of those two things, then we don't have a problem there. Everything else sorts itself out. Everyone plays in the right position. You don't have Siya at 8. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, I don't want to go down to Evan Ruiz. I mean, that thing's been trampled to death almost. I don't know. Just talk to me about the fact that Rassie delayed the team announcement. I've talked about it before. Tillman said, yeah, but didn't Rassie do the same thing in the World Cup and the likes? But that's also unlike Rassie to wait for the other team to be announced first. That also says something to me.
Yeah, so I think Rassie's really wanted to be the most unpredictable team and the most difficult to prepare for. So he built a narrative around early selection. I mean, they all select them early, announcing it early to play head games with the coach. And then I think he wants to deviate from that and not just become, so Rassie always goes early. I think, you know, his games that he played with Joe Schmidt told you that he was a bit peeved by that other coaches will wait and then they even change someone afterwards without even claiming injury. Joe Schmidt did that. So I think Rassie is sort of disillusioned about that now. So yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. I think he obviously was waiting on Siya. Jean-Luc, the unluckiest man in the world, pulls up again. So it's a sort of a cascading thing. I just woke up, maybe it was yesterday, and thought all the doomsday and the worry and the fretting is misplaced. It's misguided. I mean, unless you're just going to forget that the All Blacks are down to their 5th and 6th choice scrum off. I mean, every team has it. And Kyle Preston is a decent club player. He's not a test 9, not even close. Finlay Christie is someone we're going to pick on all night. Peter Steph DeToy is going to know what chewing gum he chews. I mean, he's going to smash that boy. So they've got holes too. No team, even the 2 best teams, and these really are the 2 best teams, and incredibly deep, both of them. No team can go to their 4th or 5th pick in any position without some fall off. So when we go to our 5th best 8th man, which I guess Siya might be, it's not great. So, but I don't think that the play is going to revolve around the Bok 8. I think the issue is going to revolve around the All Black 9. And I think that also it's going to revolve around our 9, 10, 15, 23 combination. That's my prediction. It's going to be an unusual one, but I have reason to state that case. So we can go there if you want.
No, I definitely want to. So having put my mind at ease now, thank you for that. Let's talk about the All Blacks. A couple of names there that I don't know. I mean, I'm not claiming to be the expert on All Black rugby by any means, but Simon Parker, you just had Carl Preston on the bench. I mean, talk to us about those players that we don't really know that well.
Yeah, so we know Ethan de Groot. We know him because we like his name. Cody Taylor, obviously a smooth operator. Samasori Takaoni on the bench. Fletcher Newell, Tamaiti Williams, the massive guy, and Tirolo. So two sets of front rows that are formidable, and they'll scrum really well all game. They'll clean really well and all that. Okay, then you go to the locking duo, Scott Barrett, limited, a step down from the old days of Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick. And he's being paired up with Tupou Vai. Tupou Vai actually is a short lock, probably more of a blind side. And Fabian Holland, the big Dutchman, has been moved to the bench. So that's interesting because you would think that Holland would have started, but Vai, even though he's a shorter lock, is really good in the air. So then what that happens is once you move Tupou Vai away from blind side into the lock position, you had to look for a blind side. There is Simon Parker, a one capper, I think. Chief, hard man. He's one thing and one thing only. He's a one-trick wonder, except that's a very, very good trick. He runs through things. He runs through people. So he's an accident waiting to happen. He's a card waiting to happen. He's also a guy who could get hurt. He just plays that kind of game. So, but he's a big boy and strong. And then you have behind him, you have Artie Savea, obviously everyone knows. And then Wallace Satiti, who played very well against the Boks in Cape Town.
I remember.
A year ago. It was one of the world's rugby's rising stars, new player, might have been the one. He's at 8, proper 8. So they've definitely got us edged there, except I don't think anyone runs over Siya Kolisi. So it's not like having Kwacha at 8 and they just run over him. Siya doesn't get run over. So it's more about does he know where to be in the right places? So there you get into the Sharks, games where he played enough. So if you look at the pack, and then I should say Duplessis Karifi is their reserve loose forward. So he's their Kwacha. He's definitely like a Kwacha. It's almost like you could look at these two packs and their reserves, and they're the same. It's bizarre, like they've literally named like for like for like. Willis Atiti is not a big 8, so he's a lot like Siya Kolisi actually. Simon Parker versus Peter Steff. Marco Escom versus Artie Savea might be, one of their big edges. But the style and constitution of their bench is exactly the same. Holland, Lewitt, Karifi versus Kwacha. So I don't know how you rate these 13 forwards against each other, but it looks a lot like a wash if everyone plays their best. That never happens. So whoever is not playing at their best is going to have a problem here because both of these sets of forwards are hard men. The lineout's been wobbly, but it's been wobbly for both teams. So that's an intrigue.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a left field question that put a bit tongue in the cheek. I mean, the Holland guy, he is from the Netherlands originally. I wonder if he understands Afrikaans a little bit, if he can figure out the lineout calls.
Yes, so it's always been easier for us to understand someone speaking Dutch from the Netherlands than it is the other way around. Obviously, a word like lekker is understood, but they apparently think when people speak Afrikaans, it sounds to them like an archaic, sort of trapped in time, almost a childlike thing. And it's like they can kind of get it, but not really. So maybe the other way around. Maybe when Holland's calling the line out, Lewitt will steal the line.
He's calling it in English, man. Come on.
Maybe Holland was clever and he said, hey, let's do our lineouts in Dutch. Everyone is always trying to hide lineout calls. Victor Matfield's book is so good how it explains it doesn't really matter about the actual codes. It's body language. And a good lineout thief should be able to look at someone's hips and feet.
Yeah.
And so, but this is a game within a game. So that's to me, the forward packs are about a wash, except, I think Ibn, Nortje, and Peter Steff, that little trio there of lock, blindside is better than Barrett, Vai, Parker. I firmly believe that. But I also believe that their loose trio is more accomplished than ours. And so therein lies the problem. Like, is it going to be more of a tight game or more of a loose game?
Why the loose trio? I mean, we've got Peter Steff there and Marco who've been playing very well. Siya's out of position a little bit. Is he the weak point then?
Yeah, so because loose trios are all about the balance and knowing exactly who's supposed to be where. And I'm factoring that Artie Savea is one of the greatest players who ever played the game. So is Peter Steff. So Peter Steff and Artie you'd say those are the best guys, and then you go, well, who's the second best? Wallace Atiti and Marco. Wallace Atiti is a handful, man. I mean, he's just really, really good. And now we go to Siya at 8 against Simon Parker at blindside. Man, Simon Parker is designed like a blindside. So you have Artie playing exactly where he's supposed to be playing, which is their 7. Simon Parker is definitely a 6, and Wallace Atiti all day long is an 8. So everyone's playing where they should. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But last year, I was about to ask you, last year, that test you referred to in Cape Town, Wallace wasn't playing at 8. Artie was playing at 8, and I think Wallace was playing 6, if I'm not mistaken. So now they've swapped them around.
Yeah. So Wallace can play anywhere, but to me, it's been one of the great problems in All Blacks in their decline has been putting Artie in the wrong place. And so it's almost like we're doing the same thing now. We're putting people out of their place. Artie is a 7. He's an open sider. He is a open side. He's not big. He's not big enough to just keep smashing down doors. Wallace Atiti, whilst not tall, is built. He's a tank. He's a lot like Jasper Wiese. Jasper Wiese is not a big guy, probably when you just walk into a room and see him. But if you actually study, how he bounces people off and how much weight he has through his thighs and his rump, it's a different level. No, I just think that it's shades of difference. So let me just say, I'll just nail it down here. Packs are basically even. But if there's a little bit of an edge, it's All Blacks. It's All Blacks because they got Samasoni and to spell Cody. So Cody Taylor goes off, Samasoni comes on. That's better than us going to Jan-Hendrik Wessels as of now. Maybe in the future, Jan-Hendrik Wessels will be at Samasoni's level, but not yet. Tamaiti Williams, more proven than Boan Venter. Tyrell Lomax, also more proven than Wilco Louw. So their front rows double up. Their loose forwards are playing in their exact quintessential positions, and then we're better at the locks. And I think that's why I'm throwing Pieter-Steph in more at the locks, because I think he plays really tight flank. So that 3, that's our key. If it's a real war between Eben, Pieter-Steph, and the Ruan on one side, and then we have Scooter Barrett, Card, Tupovai, Small, and Simon Parker, baby, we win. Yeah. So we got to keep it there. Yeah.
Okay, you've covered the forwards now, but you've always been saying that we might have them in the back line.
That's the good news. And also, before I even go there, let's just go back to Cape Town. I think it's 12 of these players. That was the starting team. So Frans Malherbe is not in it. Let's see who else was out. Let's see. Oh, Jasper Wiese. So Frans was playing in Cape Town to start. Jasper Wiese was playing to start. And then someone in the back line was different. But so it was, besides that, it was the same team. Well, Rassi's putting out tomorrow. The last time we played the All Blacks and beat them pretty comfortably, it's the same team. And arguably, it's better at some positions. Not with Jasper out, but I think when you have, Williams, Pollard, Moody, Damien, Creel, Colby, and Willie Leroux, that's a solid backline. That backline can kick and it can fire. And then when you say, well, what's on my bench? It was Jaden Hendricks the last time, and now it's Kobus Reinach. Upgrade. Ethan Hooker versus Lucanio Am. Lucanio Am now at his stages right now, his body. Ethan Hooker. And then Sasha was the 23 in Cape Town. So I think there's enough similarity of how you beat the All Blacks the last time you played them. But I think that backline is fire. I think, it finishes probably with Kobus running 9, a combination of Sasha and Andre at playmaker 10-12, 12-10, and Willie still on. So now you've got, if you are an outside back and you want to score a try, you just got to be ready because the ball's going to come from cross kick from Andre, flat from Willie, almost forward, and then every kind of kick from Sasha, who's very comfortable in the wet, and it might be wet.
That's interesting. I thought Willie might go off. Sasha might go on at 15 maybe, and keep Andre on, for those last minute clutch kicks. Do you think Willie's got it in his legs still?
Well, he's not got it in his legs to tackle, but anytime the ball's in his hands, he suddenly gets energy.
Yeah, but can he last 80
and,
minutes?
He's just, listen, the combination between Andre and Willie is so proven on try assists. They just
Can I,
put people through gaps. Yeah.
can I tell you this? Andre and I analyzed Tony Ball, and I'll be putting that out very soon. And guess what? Willie Andre. Key element, the swapping
Yeah.
around. Yeah, it's very important. Good you mention it. Yes.
It's
All right.
difficult to defend. What's the major thing you're trying to do what's the only thing you're trying to do in rugby on attack? You're trying to make the defense hesitate, guess, get frozen, and stumble. And so if you have Andre and Willie, it's just confusing. It just is. You don't even know who's the first receiver. I think most of the time, 2/3 of the time, it'll be Willie, and he'll sneak in, he'll ghost from the back in, and then Andre will just subtly move to the side and become a 12. But it's born of playing together so long and knowing each other's instincts that I think it works. And Sasha's shown remarkable ability to play with and off of those guys too. And I think Willie really enjoys playing with Sasha. So I think, that's why I'm thinking they might all three be on there if we need points. If we don't, then I think I agree with you. Maybe Willie comes off, Sasha comes on like for like, big boot, and you just keep the lead by Sasha kicking it 65 meters.
Yeah. All right. So that's now the teams about the style of play. What do we expect us to do, and what do we expect the All Blacks to do?
This reminds me a lot of another game too, 2018, which we talked about in the prior pod, where we sort of come in with, we're underdogs again. We haven't returned to 2018, but almost like we took a few steps that way with the loss at Ellis Park. Now we're shaky and all that. And I know, and everyone in the audience knows that we play really well against the All Blacks when it feels like we're not supposed to. There's a freedom that comes from there. In 2018, so many similar players on the pitch. Bowden, Bok beating bastard Barrett was there, and he responds to pressure. So I think the game tomorrow is going to be about applying pressure. The entire goal is going to be around scoreboard pressure, physical pressure, Finlay Christie, have you met my father pressure, just scragging, pushing, barging, nothing foul, nothing to get a card over, but just a lot of niggly afters in split seconds. So I think that's the first thing. Second thing is the pressure of the line of the blitz defense, I think, is going to be amped up. It's 2 weeks for Jerry Flannery to sort of stare at himself in the mirror, repeat his Afrikaans words, flex his muscles, get upset. People are going to play for him also by naming Jesse Creel as captain. That's your defensive captain as well as your captain. There's going to be a renewed effort for Jesse to be loud, to say when, bite, in, flip, binnenkant, whatever. Say there's things he can say quickly and strong that are going to change things. And that's exactly the 10, 11, the 10, 12, 13 has been where the All Blacks have struggled all season. Hasn't gelled between Billy Proctor and Geordie Barrett. Doesn't always gel between Bowden and Geordie, which is weird at 10, 12. So I think that's pressure. I think the other kind of pressure is going to be extremely high balls into awkward spots. Andre kicks a strange ball. It looks weird when it comes off his foot. It's different. If good fullbacks could probably recognize, even if they couldn't see who kicked it, if they just saw the ball in the air, they would see, that's a Johnny Sexton kick. But Andre Pollard's got a really difficult kind of kick to catch, and it tends to be spilled a lot. It's just got a lot of English on it. Sasha's pretty similar too. Sasha's got an outside. He does a lot of spirally kicks, So you have a lot of different kicks coming at you. Willie almost kicks the knuckleball with no spin at all. He just kind of dead legs it. He kind of dead pooches it, and it's really easy to catch. But he puts it, in good places for the Boks most of the time. Sasha kicks a squirrely ball, and then Andre it's deadly. It's very high. It's just difficult. And on a night like tomorrow night, it's gonna be a rough one.
I wanted to ask you, while you're talking about kicking now, South Africa's been playing with the Rhino ball this year rather than Gilbert. What ball are they using this weekend? And apparently there's quite a difference between the different, the top types of ball. Can that play a role?
I don't know, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find that out for you. But tomorrow, when I go to the press area and sit in my spot, I'm taking a little notebook with me, and I've devoted each page will be each kick. And so I decided I'm going to draw a picture, a diagram of each kick that's launched. I'll have the name, where I'll draw where it was on the field and sort of the outcome. Because I think that's what's going to decide the match. In answer to your previous question is, how do I see the shape? It's going to be he who kicks, chases, field, retains, and contests the best. That certainly will be in the driver's seat. I just don't see either pack being able to bully each other, and I don't see the midfields doing much more than sort of canceling each other out. Maybe there'll be a break, maybe not. A real break that you just score a try from. I think it's going to be a lot of kicking, and the thing about once one team starts to kick, the other one kind of has to. So you can almost inflict a kicking game on someone, just like in that quarterfinal 2015. The All Blacks kicked 47 times. So the All Blacks are happy to kick too. So I think Bowden Barrett's been probably given some pretty strict instructions. Do not try to throw some long interceptable ball in the, minute 5. So yeah, both teams going to be giving each other nothing.
And Wayne Smith now, you talked about All Blacks being weak under, it's just almost vulnerable under the high ball. He's now brought in to fix that. Do you think that'll help?
Yeah, the professor, he can do a lot. I don't know if he can do a lot in, 10 days. There's certain things like, so we haven't really gone through the backline of the All Blacks. There's just vulnerabilities there that it's difficult to fix. Finlay Christie is going to be back for some of those kicks. He's that red-headed 9. He's a guy that we can bully. We can find him. We can touch him. We can move him around. We can, throw him like a sack of potatoes. Rico Iwani on the wing, still trying to get back into the wing. He was a wing for sure. And then he sort of became a 13 and wasn't really ever that comfortable and back to wing. So now he's sort of a, master of nothing. Billy Proctor, it's hard to kick to a 13 on a 13, but you could find him. And then finally, we have on the bench, you have Kyle Preston. I'm not even sure he gets on, but if he does get on, he'd be someone you'd put little dink kicks over the top and get the ball rolling and see if he can sweep. And then Damian McKenzie is another one that, like Villy, he's got that magic to him, but also he's fragile if you can run at him.
The one name you didn't mention that I wanted to ask you about, Emoni Narawa. Who on earth is that?
Big boy, big boy. He's like a flank wing. He's like Ethan Hooker, so just a handful. Yeah, a big load. And so who paid the price there was Sevu Reece. Sevu Reece was dropped because he cannot get the high ball. He's performed at a very high level, at club level, and I just think Sevu Reece was found out, in the one area, that one facet of his game. And so someone like Wayne Smith would probably have said, it doesn't matter what I tell Sevu Reece. He's got short wingspan, small hands, bad leap, up against Kanan Moody. It's just not going to work. So, or even Cheslin Colby, who remarkably gets so much air, it would be a no contest. So I think Narawa's there for his size and his heft. He's a big boy. The other thing is Quinn Tupaya is on the bench for them. He's had such good games at Super Rugby level. Had a gruesome injury put on him by an Australian player. Forgot what his name was, but it took him a long time to get back. He's always been really talented. So he's a bit like a wild card in there. Quinn Tupaya, I'd look out for him because when he gets any space and any kind of options, he's trouble.
Lastly, we have to talk about the chess masters, the guys, pulling the strings there. Last time against the Australians, Rassie announced a team, then Joe Schmidt announced a team, then Rassie made a change, and Joe made a change. Do you expect any changes to the team that's been announced? I mean, Siya is a bit of a question mark. I know it said he was never going to be playing, and now he has to play. He might not be perfectly ready. Any surprises, you think?
Yeah, I think Arceus' name was going to come in
on the bench.
I think there'll be a late. Sorry, yeah, twisted it, so he'll be the bomb squad, and then I think they just move Kwacha in at 8. That's what I think is going to happen.
Starting lineup.
I don't believe the story. I don't believe the story that I've been told that Siya is going to play when he's not 100%. Doesn't make any sense to me.
If you don't train on the Monday, you don't play on the Saturday. That's his oldest rule, isn't it?
It's too important for the next game. It's too important for the next one. So what if he goes out there, he's 90%, and then it gets worse, and then we lose him for 5 games? I just, maybe I'm being too conspiracy minded, but I think his name is going to be named tomorrow.
Okay,
suddenly.
Just repeat that, because when you said it, it just broke up a little bit. You're expecting Archie to come on the bench, Kwacha moving to the starting lineup, Siya dropping out.
Yeah, I think there'll be a late morning, or even right at the game, 5 o'clock before the game, someone says, "Oh, it's a scratch for Siya. Twisted something in the warm-ups." Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened to Jean-Luc an hour before the game, remember? Against Australia. Yeah. All right, Harry, man, I'm going to leave you because you have a big night out. You have so much fun. I actually quite...
Got to get ready, man.
You've got to get ready. Yeah. I can see you're itching to get going, and I just keep talking. I'll stop now. I'll put you out of your misery.
Boks by 8. Muniwari.
Yeah, you said it. You heard it here first. I'll whatever you say, I'll go with it. I mean, bow to your superior judgment. Awesome, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you. We'll talk again soon. And by the way, watch out for that video of Andre Pretorius and I about Tony Ball.
This is the Lekker Rugby Pod, only on Megaphone Rugby.